wanted to give everybody an update on the EA and where we're at with it. So basically, what's been going on is we meaning myself and on the low, Fred as well, we've been testing the EA. That was always the vision. We always said that, I always mentioned that before the test group gets it, I want Fred to actually beat it up and for us to, critique things. Because once, you guys that are in the test group get it, you guys are going to beat it up. You guys are going to, find other ways. And before it gets super overwhelming, we wanted to make sure it's tight, right? So, we've been meeting, Friday over the weekends, and throughout this week already, this morning, early morning, taking notes. We've been looking at, I'm sorry, you guys can't see the screen. We've been looking at the trades. I've been taking mad notes on stickies on what we're just changing up code. I mean, I've got tons of notes here and on my screen of what we've been, and more here, just what we've been finding, why it's been triggering, why it has not been triggering, so forth and so on. Friday we met, we added some logic to it that is related to the way Fred looks at zones, right? So that's cleaning up the zones. I shared that. So that is allowing us to pinpoint, key areas, key zone areas. I'm just going to mute anyone that has some feedback for now. Some key zone areas, looking at engulfing, overlaying smaller time frame zones on top of larger time frame zones to see if we're getting multiple engulfing patterns in a particular direction, so that when the lightning bolt strikes, it knows it can confirm it. And we've been running it on just the 15 and up, 15, 30, 1 hour. And the results that you guys have seen this morning that I posted up from London session, that was automated. We dumbed down the lot sizes tremendously to like 0.30s on US 30. It's trading against US 30 and NAS. It took trades on both, and it's looking very good. Prior to that, yesterday's trade, although I took it live with the current EA, my other set here, I'm looking at those setups here and making sure that it's in line with the logic that we've been taking. That everyone that was on the live yesterday, towards the end of the day, that was a 15 and a 30-minute entry. And you guys saw the numbers last night on my account. That was what, 10,5 or something like that, 10,000 and some odd change, something. And it's looking good. So it's confirming to us that things are going well with the EA. We do have some adjustments that we're making. Some adjustments are related to how it exits, how it's going to exit trades, and also how we're going to use fib levels, fib entry levels, and what we need is confirmation for the reentry. We did find a bug that it was entering a candlestick too late, literally. So I jumped in the code right then and there this morning, found the issue that we were looking at the current bar's close. Basically, I looked to see that the bar that we're comparing, it's closing above at least 50% of the way of the previous bar. Well, we was looking at the current bar, and in some cases, you can have a bullish bar that then turned back negative, and then the new bar is not yet 50%, but it should have been. So anyway, I found a bug that fixed that. I was looking at the current bar, not the previous bar and the bar before that. So now it's triggering super early on time. And then also there is an issue with the refresh where sometimes I'm getting an LB, but I don't see it. Some of you guys get it and you'll say, hey, did you get the LB? I won't. I refresh it and I see it. That's allowing us to lose opportunities, but I'm working on that now. Point in case, the point to be made is that we're just going to run this a few more days on this account that you see on this particular screen here. This is a FTMO account. It's a challenge account that I had gotten for this test specifically, running on the 15 and 30, 15 and up only, no scalping on this account. All my scalping is going to happen on my other account. And once we get a few more days of proven logic, I'm then releasing this to the test group. So those, I think we have 13 of us in the test group. Those of us that are in that test group, we're going to want to test it, and it's only going to be available to run on the 15-minute chart and up. It's not going to be for 5 minutes or less, that's a different animal. We'll ease into that over time. But right now we're talking automation. When I'm thinking automation, I'm thinking easy money. I'm thinking, not so focused. I'm thinking, what trades are going to be, the best setups for the day are going to be made. And that's going to happen on the 15 to 30 in the 1 hour. So, I wanted to give you guys the update on that. So yesterday's trades, the 10K on my account based on setups that I'm seeing on my dev machine, and then running this account last night with dumbed down lot sizes, made great healthy trades, and profit should have been, overnight with, a comfortable lot size should have been about $1,200 to $1,500. But like I said, we dumbed down the lots to like 0.30s on this particular account, and something that's significant, relatively smaller, even on US 30. So it's like a 0.50, but that's not even, that's even worse than a 0.30 on US 30, a 0.50, I'm sorry, a 0.50 on NAS. So we really dumbed it down. We're going to start to idle it up over a few days. We'll start to idle it back up to get to our full lot size positions. And there we have it. That's it. But I wanted to give you guys the full rundown. We have been testing it in the background and turning around some quick development features and enhancements, like literally on the fly I've been doing, and then releasing it to this particular machine and running it. So like I said, we're getting good results. Right now, we're feeling very confident about it. And then the next phase is within a few days, releasing it to the test group. And all you guys are going to break that apart, find what you guys find on those areas, why it didn't take a partial, why did it miss it entirely, so forth and so on. Some of the features that are new are, here, I'll show you here. Oh, no, not template. Where is it? Do I not have it running on this one? We were just literally working on this all morning. So one of the features is overlaying current zones. And I think I showed a few of you this, is in the zone settings. Right now you have 2 different types of zones you can run. You can set up you can run it as the standard zones, which is what we normally run, or you could set it to just engulfing zones. And that's going to give you those high probability turnaround zones based on engulfing candles. And then what you could do is you can run an overlay zone of being, say, an engulfing on a lower time frame, right, on like a 15. So then what you're going to see is a higher time frame zone with lower time frame engulfing zones in it, giving you a score of bearish or bullish. And then that's going to help with the confirmation of the signal, letting you know you're going to be on the upside or the downside when you get that LB. So we're looking for either a retest of a previous minor zone, overlay zone, or get an LB, but only enter on a retest of a future zone that's coming up. That's there. We're adding a few more things related to, for example, I was having trades run when we don't have our targets enabled. So I'm sorry, say we have our simple moving average targets, our moving average targets enabled, but we're with the trend. So our targets are behind us. Well, what are we targeting? So we're looking for now taking those partials. We have a fix for that. I'll be implementing that, and I'll share that later to implement those targets to make sure we're protected. And also we'll be our reduced risk will be happening with engulfing candles behind us. So if we're in drawdown and we're getting engulfing candles on lower time frames or being printed on the current time frame against our position, we're going to be, as we're the same reasons why we're getting into the trade is going to be the same reasons why we're getting out of the trade. So this is exactly what we're working on. I mean, for me, it's been, working where I've been babying it for a while. Now that we're putting on our live accounts and such, it's looking really, really good. So I wanted to update you guys on that. If you guys have any questions, timeline questions, logic questions, what's next steps, how do you fit in, please, by all means, ask, and we will share it. I didn't want to, I'll say I didn't want to share those details yet because, there's a lot of hype around the EA and I don't want to get people super excited. And then we're so far out. So I wanted to test it, get through some tests, see that we're making some groundwork. And now that we are, I'm able to share with everyone, this is where we're at, and this is where I'm seeing it's going for the community.
No, that's an excellent way to do it, by the way. Bring out in phase testing, slow it down if you have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not one of those things that I would assume anybody would want you just to push it out and see what happens. That's not the idea.
Exactly.
So we appreciate that for sure. Take your time, but if it makes it useful, being the test group, I'll buy a challenge separate strictly to test.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, if you're buying a challenge, you're looking to pass it. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I
So
don't care.
by all
It's still
means,
a
pass
test.
it.
That's fine. You know, it's worth
Yeah.
it's worth the you know, to help the group. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I would say, you know, even if you once you guys get it, even if you open up a demo, you know, whatever it is, open it up and use it, whether, you know, at that point, use it for how you can phase, test it as you wish. You may have to help it along. I will notate, I'll tell everyone this is what you need to look out for if you're getting into, you know, if you're running it, this is what these areas that I want you to be careful with. So for example, I did have to help it last night, maybe 40% of the take partials, simply because I'm coming from a different mindset of, you know, let me take partials at these SMAs, and I'm seeing that reaction, and I'm like, I want to take that partial, but I've got to learn to just let it sit because we're getting in on higher time frames. Our zones are better targets for those higher time frames with the way we're paying these zones. So I'll give you the list, Mike, and everyone else who's in that test group of what to look out for, and then we'll run it because we're going to be running it together at the same time frame, right? If you're going to be running it and getting it at the same time. So once we get it, I'll probably be dropping some Zooms. Everyone that's in the test group that's testing at that moment, drop on. I don't care if it's all of you or one of you or none, but I want that group open so that when we're seeing it, you know, we can run it. So it's happening where we're gonna get those signals. What's great about this is we're gonna get these signals. Doesn't have to be market open, right? This could happen. Yesterday was a market close. You know, for those of you that were on the Zoom yesterday, we were working on getting that entry on the 15 and 30 minute, right at market close. And for those that were on, you'll recall once I got in, I removed the targets because I wanted it to test that longer setup that I'm seeing on my dev machine. So it played out, it worked well. And that was that was Asia market. I was really done way before London market. And then added some changes. We dropped it onto this, launched it again for London. I was up a few times, you know, just checking some things and helping it along, and it worked out, you know. So if you're in the test group, then run it on whatever you feel is necessary, you know, for yourself.
That'll be good too, because a lot of us in that test group are on different things. Like you're at TMO, some of us are on TFF, some are MFF.
Yeah.
It'd be good to see how it reacts along all of those things.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting is Fred is big on, and this is his contribution, but it brought me full circle as well, engulfing candles, right? So his zones are engulfing candle zones, right? And then there's other secret sauce that he has in there that's phenomenal, and it's a great overlay on top of what we have and what we use. So keep in mind that when we first launched, remember, some people were getting LBs, others were not. It was like, hey, I'm getting this LB, but I'm not getting this LB. And what was the reason? It was because we were running in candle mode, and in candle mode, I was dropping LBs off of engulfing candles, but not all of us were getting that. So then I had to come up with a mode for us to be in sync, and I turned that off. But the reality is engulfing candles are the shit, right? So that's why I was basing the LBs off originally. But even if we don't turn that feature on those lower time frames, we should have some engulfing candles that's going to overlay on top of our higher time frames to confirm entry. So that's going to be an added logic for the EA, is looking at engulfing candles on lower time frames, overlaid on top of the higher, and then the higher will make the entries based on what it sees. So, and we'll walk through that as I demo it more. I'll demo it obviously before we get into the test group and show you guys, but these are some of the features that we have here, and plus some new ones that I'm adding in just to tighten it up. And yeah, so that's it. I'm super anxious to get it to the test group. I know the test group, you all kill it, you know, every time. That's why we worked so hard on that last development cycle, because, you know, even when I can test it to the point where I'm thinking stable, you guys really found some stuff, because you guys were using the algo in ways I didn't even imagine. And then you guys gave me great insight for adding functionality, trailing stops, all these different things. And it really helps. So there's a lot of power in that group. So there you have it.
Those 4-hour engulfings are fire, boy.
Crazy. crazy.
you have a,
Yeah.
and I came on a little late, so I apologize if you answered. Did
no
you have a
worries.
time frame on when you were looking to get it to the testers?
Yeah, so I'm thinking, Fred and I were talking this morning, I said, let's see if we can let this run a few more days, show profits. Right now, it's been doing very well, so continue to show profits, print profits, and we can start to idle up our lot sizes. And if we could do that, get to at least almost 100% of full lot size, maybe, 75%. At that point, if we're looking good, I'm dropping it to the group. So that could be just in a few days. It could literally be ending of this week, beginning of next.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'll add real quick. And then in addition to that is, because these moves have been so clean, I can't necessarily say that we've tested good drawdown. I mean, it has its locks in place, but I want to see some scenarios where we're getting some drawdowns on an LB that we've entered, just to see how it handles, right? Because if it doesn't handle well, or for some reason logic that we thought is in place isn't, I need to then critique that before I hand that over to you. But right now, we're not seeing that. Right now, the drawdown was very much manageable last night. Also, when I saw the drawdown last night, I think the max drawdown on the trade was just a few $100s.
Got you. Yeah, that was gonna be something I said. Being part of the test team is I definitely want to make sure that we're talking to. I know you were saying that you're looking for us to run it on the higher time frames to start out with, the recommended lot sizes, because I know because the drawdown is going to be larger, that our lot sizes need to be a little bit lower, so that we can handle the drawdown. That kind of goes in what I was saying for the manual EA, because it might be a while before it comes out. There was things that I was looking at as far as I know that I had a couple of questions on people that I was talking to about stop losses, where the stop loss should be placed. So I didn't know if there was a feature where you can put in, since the EA puts a stop loss when I enter a trade, even if it's just not putting my stop loss, but showing me where the recommended stop loss should be on the swing low. And that way you can kind of calculate what my lot size should be on this trade, because I can hold, kind of like the trouble I got into yesterday, where I entered the trade and my lot size was too big because I couldn't handle the drawdown on where the stop loss should be placed.
Correct.
So I was
Absolutely.
wondering if that could be something you can give that in the manual version until the automated comes out, so people can kind of get an idea what lot size they should be using based on where the recommended stop loss should be.
Yes, absolutely. So it's quite interesting, and that's a good plan. Thank you for that. So I mentioned to Fred earlier today, I said, we need to, right now it's set for fixed. So right now this EA has a fixed lot size. I think it's right over here. Lot size is a new field, lot size, that I exposed, and that'll control the lot size, right? So we have 3 different modes to control lot size, or 3 different ways. One is going to be a fixed lot size. Another is going to be a percentage of your principal balance, right? You can say, I want to, trade a lot size that's going to be 1% of principal balance, not looking at stop loss. And the second is going to be a stop loss calculated lot size, right? So if you enter, hey, you know what, I have a stop loss of, 150 pips or 80 pips, whatever it is, well, it'll calculate the lot size for you and enter. That's the logic I was telling Fred earlier this morning. I need to add to this so that we could stay in range. The problem with the manual is, if you enter manually, I can drop a stop loss line below the swing low, but you may already be over leveraged for that stop loss, because we're putting the horse before the carriage. We're calculating a stop loss, or we're placing a stop loss after you've made the order.
Right.
Yeah.
So the one I would really be interested in.
Maybe I could.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying the one I'd be definitely interested in is the percentage of your account, because with FTMO you're really looking at having to gain a percentage, you only to lose a percentage. So I only really want to lose a percentage of my account per trade. I only want to risk what the percentage of my account per trade. That's all I was going to say, is that's the one I'm really interested in, especially if we're doing these funded accounts, because hey, I can only lose 5% of my account in a day.
That's
I don't want to lose more than 4%. That means I can lose 4 trades in a row if I'm doing 1% of my account. Or I can lose 8 if I'm doing 0.5% of my account. So that really helps play into the logic that I have about trading on a funded account.
Yeah. So the way this would work is this. Let me see if I can pull this up here. So say we're looking at this chart here, right? And we have a So everyone is super clear with it. So we have a swing low and we're making a swing high, right? And we have a, let's draw this out. We have a fib, right? We have a fib. So we do a fib from the swing low to swing high, right? Now, when automated or calculating your lot size, basically what's going to happen is, or what normally happens, which everyone should be doing, right? I know we don't discuss it much, but everyone should be doing it, right? Our stop loss would be below this swing low, right? Our stop loss would be here. Okay. Now, if you get in at, I'm sorry, if you get in at the 236 or under, you may have a lot size of 4, a 4 standard.
Right.
If you get in too high, you may have a lot size of 1 or 0.50.
Right.
Right. So the challenge that we have with the manual is the EA doesn't know where you're getting it at, because you're overriding, it doesn't exist, but you essentially would be overriding any logic behind. If you're not calculating your stop loss, you're overriding any logic to keep you in compliance with over leveraging.
Right.
Because the stop loss, no matter what, is going to be here, right? So if you wanted to say, I want to enter here at this point, at this distance, look at this distance here, straight down. This is a huge distance, right? If you were to enter here, if I were to calculate, well, you could only afford a 0.5, I may have to force to place the stop loss in this area,
Right.
right? Which makes no sense because you need to be down here. So I can't calculate for you. I could drop a stop loss, but it's not going to give you an accurate position size.
Percentage. Right.
The only thing I could do is, based on the LB and where price is at, maybe up top here, maybe up top in this area somewhere, I present a recommended lot size so that when you make the trade, you can take the value from this and manually enter.
Right. Then the only way I think that you could really do that is if you had something that dropped on there, it's said that this is the entry point based on the LB.
That's right. So that's exactly. So
yeah.
I would place this value the minute I get an LB. I would place this value and say, hey, this is what your lot size is. As price is moving further and further away from
it,
the swing low, this lot size calculation will change.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that'd be pretty wicked, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
that's what I was
the
thinking
other-
myself. When the LB goes off, it'll plot that from that to the swing low or the swing high.
Yeah, exactly. I could probably write some Windows some Windows stuff that will automatically, I could find this window in text box and automatically plop the size. So when you click buy or sell, it's already there, but that'll be additional testing and stuff. Right now I can do the recommended amount, but I could probably calculate this and find, once I use the Windows API, I can find this window and automatically update it with a value that I want.
Right. And I'm just, and I know that's something down the road or something in the future. I was just thinking for the people that don't have the auto trader, for like me yesterday, I didn't want to be over leveraging, right?
Mhm.
It was just that I didn't realize the candles had got so big when we were trading, because when they got so big that the stop losses started being larger, and I just didn't pay attention to it. I know, you got to be a little more focused, but just that helper would have kept me from, I would have, just like the trade we were in, is that we would have won that trade, both of us, if we were using the proper lot size and would able to held the drawdown, because we called it correct yesterday.
That's right. 100%. It was correct. It was fine. It was just a little too early, but not even a little too early. It's just, I kept saying on that call, I said, it depends on my tolerance level, right? It depends on our tolerance level. So I can I'll either calculate a lot size for us, or I'll give you, I'll drop lot size and maybe the difference between the current LB and current price and the swing low or swing high LB, right? Because then that's going to, if you can either use my lot size, you can use my calculator, or if you're using your own, at least it'll print the difference and you can plug it into your own lot size calculator to get the value of what your lot should be.
Got you. And I don't know if you could do this, but really would help me, because a lot of times is like where the LB printed, if you had a line, like how you do the fib line, if you could say LB like entry point, that way if it's gone away or not, because a lot of times you'll look away and be like, oh, where did this come in at? Right? Because I'm checking a different, looking at a different screen, and I look back, I'll say, oh, the 5 minute came in. I didn't see it come in. Where did it come in at? right? Where
Yeah,
where was the
yeah,
entry point for that
yeah.
LB? Did
Yep.
it run away from me or not yet?
Yep. Yep. So usually what'll happen is, you'll get, usually if you see this cell here,
Mm-hmm.
that means that it really happens on this candle. See if I could get the crosshairs here. It'll happen at this candle, and it just puts it here because I'm opening on candle close. I'm always looking at the previous candle, right?
Got you.
So it's here, but sometimes you don't get the sell. To your point, you know, to add to your point is that sometimes you won't get the sell till bars down because there's a condition that's made for that sell. The LB is already printed, but you want to know what bar did it print the LB
Right. Where was the entry point for that LB?
for that LB.
And
Yeah,
and
yeah,
how I could measure how far I am. Am I still worth the risk? Because like you're saying, like on this sell, when that candle closed, the next candle open, without this, if you're looking at the LB, if the LB printed up there, and then you're on that third candle from where you're at, let me see if I can annotate.
Here, let me
Yeah.
add. Yeah,
So
let me
yeah, if you
add
got
that.
it there, and then if you opened on that next candle, that's on that next candle we're at the 50%. That's a could be a big difference depending on the candle size.
100%, 100%,
So
100%.
I don't know how easy it is to add that feature in there, because then I know, okay, my entry was here,
Yeah.
my stop loss should be there, and even if I want to calculate it on the fly,
Yeah.
I can kind of drag it, see how many pips it is, and say, okay, in my mind, do a calculation, how much, what's my lot, $10 a pip, or
Yeah.
$1 a pip or whatever, and then I
Yeah.
can kind of get what the lot size should be.
I'm down with that. I completely agree. So I'm down with that. I could definitely add that to the EA, so it'll draw it out and let you know, hey, this is where the LB actually struck. I may
Right.
just put not a line, but maybe just the letter LB. You know, you see
Right.
the lightning bolts to indicate, hey, it was a swing high, but maybe I'll notate another little L, or maybe an arrow, just some little arrow or something
Arrow,
very
right.
easy to let you know, hey, that is where the LB actually appeared.
Yep. And
That'd be
and
cool.
I'm only saying that too because I'm gonna let you know I got burned again today. And just like yesterday,
Do
we
you?
called it in the right direction. Austin and I was on, we called it in the right direction, but my tolerance wasn't right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as soon as like you said, as soon as you click that X, what did it do?
That's right.
Turn right around. But if
Yeah.
I would, it never broke the swing low. So I just want to make sure that I'm playing with the right lot size.
Yeah.
And stop letting greed
Well,
take
what
over
lot-
my trading.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say, yeah. So my next question is irrelevant. I'm glad you said that, because I was gonna ask you,
Yep.
well, what was your lot size? And I'm sure you was over leveraged based on, you know, how far your stop
How
loss.
far the stop loss should be? Oh, definitely. I was playing with
Yeah. So
I was playing with it too. So yeah, definitely.
yeah, it's a mute question, so I get it.
Yep.
So yeah, you need controllers in place to help you to make sure that you're not doing that, and that's fine. I can absolutely do that.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you this. So, all right, so say you get that logic in there, you got the little box up there, it's showing you all this stuff. But you know how you can select where you can have more than 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 trades open? When it's manually doing it, will it calculate like, all right, you're exposed this much? If you're, it takes another trade, you're exposed this much, would it automatically reduce?
That's quite interesting. That's a quite interesting concept. We could easily, have logic in there and say, hey, you're set for 3 positions. So the lot size calculation, maybe there's a feature. You could do full lot sizes, right? Whatever that calculation is, or you could take that and divide it by the number of positions you're hoping to hold.
Right. I think too the percentage
Is
thing
that what you were
helps out.
saying, Mike? Is that
Yeah,
what?
kind of. Just basically saying, like, if you're say you went your first trade at the
Yeah.
proper amount, say you were running, 2 lots, whatever. That was proper risk, proper good. Now, obviously, if you're in profit, you're not as worried about it. But
That's
if
right.
you then it takes you another trade, does it say, all right, well, you're in profit, so I'll take this set of 2 or 3 lot, like because I'm good. You see what I'm saying? How does
Yeah.
it factor
Yeah.
when you're getting in multiple spots?
Yeah. Well, right now, since it's manual, it's treated all individually, and the EA is also treated as individual positions. I may chop it down. Like I like to size in at half of the last position. So if I'm in a 1 lot, my next entry is going to be a half lot. If I'm in a half lot now and I'm going on my 3rd position, my max 3rd entry is going to be more. I'm sorry, half of that to a 0.25. But I do have it in here because you guys are bringing up the points. I have it in here. Eventually is engulfing. Where is it? Oh yeah, all charts triggered at once. So basically I had a scenario where hold on 1 second.
And Mike, I know you put us on hold, but I think what I was looking at too, the reason why I like the percentage, if you do percentage of your equity,
Yeah, it'll
th-
calculate
th- if
automatically.
then it takes that into account. So if you're in profit, if you're only risking, like say if you're risking 1% of your account for each trade and you're doing 1% of your equity, it'll take into into account that you're in profit, right? So you can risk a percentage of your equity in profit, or you could say, hey, I just want to take 1% of my balance, right?
Yeah, starting balance or whatever.
Balance, right? Yeah. So 1% of my current balance, and then
So
that
That
kind
makes
of
sense.
helps because then it kind of factors that in a little bit.
to do that calculation, then it'll be like, enterprise, swing low, and then it'll have to do all those calculations internally, and then it'll be exactly what we're talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because the lot size is 100% easier to say, hey, just do one line. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I know there definitely has to be something that he codes.
Yeah. I definitely don't ever think of 0.08 or 0.8 or you know what I mean? Like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever,
Right.
but you should be, you should be.
Sorry about that, peoples. I apologize.
No problem.
Yeah. So, yeah. So for the multi-lots, I mean, that's a discussion, but I do have it here where, it opened up on all charts, triggered at once. So I had a 50, it's the same interval. When you have a 1 and a 15, in this case, it was a 15 and a 30 LBs on NAS and US 30. So all 4 triggered at once. And I was in max for US 30 and max for NAS. So at once they all went in, and we were monitoring that. We talked about it this morning, and we came to the conclusion that right now it's okay because we're so under leveraged. The way, if it's an automated trader,
Right.
we don't want to over leverage anyway, right? If we're not managing it, so tightly. So we're okay with it. So literally I wrote here, like I just did like okay and circled it because we're like, hey, you know what? It's okay. We're okay with that for right now. It's in the back burner. We're okay with that feature right now. So there's no new logic that's going to be around the multi positions. But once again, Ant, Mike, you guys, and a few other you guys are in the test group. So you know how we work. If you guys
Right.
come up with that good use case, I'm going to plug it in an instant.
Yeah, I'm just thinking percentage of either your balance or your equity would be a good thing, like we were talking there, because if you're doing a percentage of it, you can say, okay, per trade, I want to lose 1% of my account, and I don't want to have more than 5% of my account is blowing an account on FTMO, right? If you lose 5% a day, so I don't want
That's
more
right.
than 4% of my account active at a time or risked at a time.
Yeah, exactly. And that will put that in because I do have calculations here that is called in my logic here. It is called is restriction. Yeah, is trade restriction. And basically what this does is it's a function that I call, basically what it does is it calculates your floating drawdown and your current daily profit and loss statement. It gets the difference and there's another field. I don't know if it's enabled on this side yet. That is called, no, it's not, but it's a field called max daily loss. And there you put in a value, a negative value. So of like 4,000, 3,000. This is separate. This is not at the position level, but it's at the overall equity level of the account. So if you're in a trade and somehow, because you could still risk 1% of your account, right? But you've lost 3 trades, you're approaching your 4% or your 3,500, 3.5%, whatever you put your threshold to, it's going to close that position down.
Got you.
Automatically. But yeah, right now, the only thing that I could do to really help with the manual is to just somehow, one, give you a marker on which bar the LB was triggered. And then secondly, print a calculation in the screen of distance so that you can, from the previous LB swing high, swing low, so that you can calculate your own.
Right.
Or just print the actual, my calculated lot size based on the pip value and all that.
I think it would probably help to just print the with LB marker and a recommended lot size and have it change as it's moving away.
Yep.
That way people, don't have to do the calculation. It's easier when it's on the screen to just
It's right
type it in
there.
real quick and hit the button. 'Cause
Exactly.
the longer you take to calculate, the
you're
further it's
done.
gonna pull away. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Your new now it's a new size. It's already
Right.
you've gone into profit and you're too late. So now you're gonna it's gotta give you another size. So yeah, no, so I could do that. I could definitely do that for you. For everyone.
That's why that means we'll have to go in, right? That means
Yeah, so yeah, I'll definitely put that in there for us. I think that'll be valuable. And then also I talked about it before, and I've already got, I mean, there's so much shit. I don't even show you guys half the time because there's just a lot going on. But Ant, you were on the call. I think Mike, you were on the call also, where Austin was as well. We were talking about having, if you're indented here, it's going to give you the confluences. It's going to say,
Right.
if you're not in a trade, it's going to say, this is what we're looking for. Right. It's going to let you know this is what we're looking for. This should help everybody who's manually trading. It's going to list what we're looking for. LB, zone rejection, minor, these red lines, these are mini zones, mini zones, engulfing zones. You know, these are going to be our what we're looking for. They'll be checked off, and then it's going to show the opposite, the counter confluence or the confluences that are working against you. And it's going to list those up. And then we can take a look. Well, yeah, you got the confluences for a buy, but you're sitting right on something that could be a high score. I've already cracked into that. Right now, I'm writing it not here on this side, but I'm writing it as an external EA that you can maximize it and minimize it. And it'll let you know, this is what we see. It's just going to be like a status update of everything. That should help. I mean, you guys got more than enough, because the only thing that I'm hearing is discipline. Right. So, so no matter, I could paint it, I could do whatever we want, but it's still going to come down to you guys, and gals doing it or not. Right. But that's going to be what we're working on. And I think, yeah, so it's going good, but I will take that and get that going. If I could squeeze that in within the next day or so that by the time you guys get it in the test group, it's already there. Okay. So that you can start to test that. And then we also have the, let's see here. What you can also have is the trading with the trend, right? So there's a trade with the trend feature here. I think it's under not zones, but it's under LBs, and it's trade with trend. You turn that on, it's only going to paint LBs that are with the trend. So I'll give you a little demo of that right now real quick. So let's see, let's go to, I just want to open up forget, I'll do it on this one.
Yeah, I'm really interested in them new zones too. Just because I think that they'll help to where you don't have to adjust and change the heights and stuff to get the zones. I think that's going to help a lot.
Wait till you see it. The zones are crazy. But when you see, since you talked about it, I'll just show you really quick. So here, when you see this, these red lines are the minor zones. So this is a major zone, the gray line, and you can see that price has tested and rejected 2 zones.
Right.
And that's giving you a higher confirmation. That's letting you know, hey, on the LB, you're getting a LB to sell, but you're also on this time frame. This is a zone. This gray zone is or charcoal, whatever it is. It's a zone that's made off of an engulfing candle. And in addition to that, you're also breaking through other minor levels of engulfing candle zones.
Right.
To let you know, hey, there's a reaction. We talked about it here. What's going to happen is you're going to be able to go in and it's going to display here. I'll just type it here. We talked about this today. Here, it's going to let you know at this zone, it's going to look at all the minor levels and it's going to say bearish engulfing equals 20, right? Bullish engulfing equals 5. So you're going to know at this zone, within that zone, you've got 20 bearish minor zones, bearish engulfing candles. So if you're headed up towards that price and you're seeing you've got this many bearish engulfing candles, you can hit sell.
Right.
It's
going to
wait
you're in a trade going up, you want to take a profit there. Yeah.
Or take a profit.
Partial. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's that. So now let me show you the let's show you the trade with the trend feature. So right now, I believe it's set to, let's get right now it's set to, it's because you've got buy here, right? So this is a good indication. This is a buy, but it's not really with the trend. It worked out. But when you're in trends, you need to know when you're in trends, trade only with the trends. At this time here, you wouldn't know yet. I mean, it's kind of bottoming out here. You're seeing it going sideways, so you may want to turn it off at that time. This is a part of what you need to do to facilitate, or manage the EA. Trade with the trend. You click true, boom, and you see it only shows you sells, no buys. So,
Got you.
this is a buy because it was above that line. This one was tricky. We were talking about this. This was super tricky to get into, but now it's only on these LBs, it's only showing you the sells, only showing you the sells. And let's go like there. This is current time. If you went back, you'll see, I bet you there's some buys here that if I turn this on, there's going to be some buys. I'll show you that. But this is the sell here. Look, this is the sell right here. Boom, sell. It may have knocked you out on the SL, but as it broke through that LB again, you should have gotten in for sells. Look at this, buys, because we're above this purple or violet colored line. So the buys, you would have gotten in at this point. These buys here, buys. It just gets rid of all the noise. And the reason why this is a sell is because I'm looking at the overall number of candles here on the swing low and swing back up. So the majority of them are really below this line here. So it got you in this sell here. Probably wrong, but in that case it was wrong, but there was no zone. So, you still got to do your confluence. But if I were to enable this again, and you could take a look at it before and after, and this is just on the 15, even on the 5, it looks really, really clean. Trade with the trend, click false. Oh, what was my EMA? Oh, before I do that, let me set it back to true because I like it on the 100 EMA, not the 50. Right. So here you've got the buys.
It still looks really similar.
Yeah. You got these buys, but they're clean. But now let me turn that off. And if I change timeframes, you'll see it's definitely makes a hell of a difference. Let's see here, false, boom. Now you're getting wow, that's clean anyway. I didn't get any LBs here, but let's see if we could see these. Wow, looks clean even on the M1. I mean the 15.
Your zones. That's because it's hitting them zones. You don't
Yeah,
have no
this-
zones in the middle.
Yeah, this is clean. Even with the enable. No, that's not that's the wrong one. What did I
Oh.
do? Yeah, that turned off the wrong one here. This one, false. Trade with the trend, false. Right. Let's see here if we get these back here. So you're getting a hell of a lot more signals here. This is a
Right.
sell. You're getting a sell up top here. No good, right? You're getting a sell up top down here. No good, right? You're getting, let's move forward. You're getting these buys look good. This sell looks great. That was the same sell. Look at this here. You're getting these buys. This buy wouldn't have come in. You're getting this buy worked out. You're at the bottom, but with it on, it wouldn't have been triggered. It shouldn't be triggered at all. Let me drop this to the 5 just so I'm on the 30. Yeah, no, I wanted to on this one. Why did I do that? How did it switch over? Sorry, let me just do this here. Trade with the trend, true. EMA 100, right? Let's just clean this up, 100. And this is on the 15, right? This is the 15-minute goal. So you got beautiful cells, beautiful cells, beautiful cells. You got your beautiful cell here. Beautiful cell. This one was tight, but we're at the bottom, right? You've got the buy, it pushed up because the total candles were up buy. You do have this buy here because the majority of the candles were above it. But now let me turn it off and see. It could be just the last few days it's been clean, but
What are you doing right now, Squawk?
I'm showing the trade with the trend feature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I did talk about the EA and the release of we're preparing to release it to the test group based on some tests that Fred and I have been doing in the background. So it's really, we're getting to that time. So we're getting cells here, right? This is a cell, but that shouldn't really be. We're above the line. That wasn't there before. That cell looks clean. A lot of this actually looks clean, but I'm telling you, when you look at it on the smaller time frames, it really, 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 really cleans it up, where it keeps you out of trouble. We should only see cells here at this point, but we're getting all these buys against the trends, right? So if I were to enable this may be a good example. We're getting all these buys. Now let's just go and let's change this to, let me turn that off. Let's change this to So, yeah, so that's that. But if everyone saw when I turned on trading with the trend here, take a look at these cells. You got the nice cell keeps it super clean. But once you turn this on, it becomes super noisy, right? In this trend. So it'll, if I turn this on, not that, trade with the trend, turn that off, click OK. And now you're going to see all that noise. You're going to get into these quick buys, but why take the risk of these buys? We don't know how long it's going to go, how far it's going to go. You know, these are all bad entries. Look, this buy here, you triggered here, you wouldn't have made anything. You would have had, it's super risky. You wouldn't have made a dime. So putting the trade with the trend on, it's going to keep it super clean for you so that you could just, you know it's in trend, you know that you're moving down, trade with the trend, and you're going to ride that all the way down until you can detect that it's broken trend by not making, lower highs, lower lows, and then you could turn it off.
Hey, go back and turn that, do that again, if you would.
Yeah, sure. So this is it with trade the trend off. Take a look, got these buys. Then you could go in and you can say trade with the trends, turn that feature back on. All my settings have shifted around because I've added some stuff. I click true. I set that I want this to be an EMA for a trend line with a EMA 100. Set it to true. It's going to use that EMA 100 now as your baseline for detecting trends. Click OK. And bam, it's gone. All of it's
Bam,
gone.
bam.
Yep.
That's unbelievable. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep. So even on this swing up, you're still below your stop loss there. Your stop loss would have been above that LB. So you're still golden. You're still good. Nice riding. That's what we want. We want it to ride down nicely. That's how we want to ride it. And then of course you're going to have these, like, for example, this fib retracement, that's going to be built in, obviously as well. It's already in there, but right now we're not testing it on this machine. That's going to be in there. So that's going to allow you to stack. If you're in a good trend and you're in a good trend, it's going to allow you to stack well. So yeah, so that's basically, this is recorded. I'm going to drop it in the group so that you guys can revisit the first half of it, discussing the EA, the timeline for releasing, how we're going to test, who's going to test. It's going to be the test group. Right now, that test group is locked. So maybe there'll be an opening where people can join again. But right now, the test group is tight. The amount of information, I think I've got the right team. Everyone in there in that group has provided information in a most, in the fastest way, overload of information for me. So I'm like, oh man, my list is long. I had to organize it, but I'm okay with that. These guys and gals were ripping it apart, and that's what we wanted. And now, it becomes super solid. So yeah, this is what we're going to do. This is where we're at. Stay tuned because it is on its way. Any more questions? I'm glad I'm here to ask any more questions, whether it's about the EA, the automatic trader, or anything else that we have going on in the community or setup or anything.
Squawk,
So,
can you do bigger lot sizes than one?
oh yeah, absolutely. So you have if you go to your expert advisors, once you go in, you can calculate, you can enter your lot size here. So right now we're running 0.3, so you can enter whatever number you want. But this is not what you would use. You can override it, but you're gonna now start to impact your risk to reward, right? Because you have to know what the proper lot size is. Or there's going to be an option that's you can drop down and you can say a percentage of account balance. And that will then, or you can calculate it either percentage of account balance, regardless of stop loss, or you can set it to a stop loss calculation. And when it gives you that swing high or swing low, it's going to automatically calculate your stop loss percentage. So you would enter that as like a percentage. If you wanted to risk 2%, you would enter 2.5%, 2.5%. You're at risk because you're over leveraging, but yes, you will have, to answer your question, yes, you will have that opportunity to trade whatever size lot you wish.
Okay, very good, thank you. It's because another funded company, E8 funding, uses bigger lot sizes than FTMO, so that's why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because that's going to be regardless of the rules, it's going to just be a price per pip, right? So FTMO is it's a $10 a pip. So that's going to be a standard lot, a one lot is $10 a pip. But other lot size, other brokers, they need to have a 10 standard to be a $10 pip. So it looks larger, But in reality, it's the same lot size because you're not going to risk beyond, you're not going to risk, $100 a pip on a funded account, right? Because you're going to blow it. So, but yeah, you can plug in whatever it is that you'd like.
Great. Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you. So yeah, so that's basically it, everyone. I wanted to update with you guys. I'm going to be plugging in all these fixes and changes and things that we got here that we've collected over the morning, and then we're going to run this again. And I'm going to keep you guys posted along the way. But, I wanted to, give you guys this information. We kept it on the low, simply with, testing, Fred and I testing. That was the original plan. I've always said that. I want Fred to actually go through it first before we drop it into the test group. And now that we're there, we see a few more profitable days and we can start to size up, feeling comfortable. We're dropping it into the test group and we're going to move forward from there. So there you have it.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Oh, good. Thank you much. Thank you much. And I will catch you guys in the AM. I'm hoping tonight's going to be an easy night and I can catch you guys in the AM. There's no news. If it breaks out of this range and things are looking good, you'll definitely see me. But this morning it looked very, crappy in the first place. And I was also just already on the phone, working with Fred on some things. So there you have it. Until next time, guys, see you later. Thank you very much. And I'll catch you in the community.
All right, Squash. Thanks for your time as always.
Thank you much. Bye-bye.